going to be very vulnerable with you guys. Every full moon I would have a crash out, a lot of anger, understand myself. I didn't know how I dealt with my emotions, and until I began to learn myself that I was like, okay, this is how I am. Hi babies, I know it's been a long time, no video. I bet you guys are wondering what happened to the New York vlog. We have a lot to talk about today and I just want to sit down and talk to you guys. Also, ignore this over here and this over here. My beauty room has been an absolute mess because I have just been working so much. I haven't got the time to organize it. Also, I have no closet space in here. I need to buy an actual closet. I digress. I have some mango here. I'm comfy cozy. I'm in my robe. I encourage you to do the same because this is a topic that's I'm very passionate about and I could talk hours and hours and hours about. You're probably wondering why, based on the title. Crystal, where did this come from? If you follow me on TikTok, it's probably not so out of the blue because you guys know how much I love astrology. On my content journey for so long and I've been experimenting with so many different types of content. I love filming, I love vlogging, not necessarily vlogging for other people but for myself, and recording my everyday life. That I am a very private person, so with the New York vlog and me going to New York, I did vlog all of it. However, I got stuck in a rut when it came down to editing because I just felt it was very personal to me. This is something we're going to talk about in the video because I am still on a journey of self-discovery, discovering who I am, discovering what parts of me I want to share. And I think vlogging to me is just something that maybe just doesn't click. Every time I try, it doesn't click. So we're going to see if this clicks. We're going to see if I even get around to editing this video. When I rewatch some of my videos, I don't know if it's imposter syndrome or not wanting to share that much or being shy or lack of confidence. I don't know what it is. Comes time to edit, I just want to throw the whole video away and I don't even want to work on it anymore. So we're going to talk about the topic of how astrology changed my life and helped me understand myself better, because this is a topic I have talked about on TikTok and I genuinely can't talk about it for hours. So we are bringing it to YouTube and we're gonna see if this is something that actually sticks. Maybe this is something I'm meant to talk about, and maybe this is something you guys would rather me talk about rather than follow me around and my lifestyle and the vlogging. I don't want to be an influencer anyways, so I would just much rather connect with my audience and the people that love me for me. Believer that you don't need to share all of you out there for the world to see. So I think this is a topic that I do not mind putting out there because I love helping people. If you've ever met me in real life, I could talk on and on about motivation and self-improvement and astrology and the stars. I'm very woo-woo when it comes down to that stuff, so let's just chit chat, grab your popcorn, grab a snack. Also, you guys, I have my carnelian right here because this stone really has helped me in my journey of building my confidence. It's just a gentle little reminder and it helps me communicate. I feel it helps me tap into my confidence, like I said. So she is here with us. Anyways, we're just gonna jump straight into the video on how I feel astrology changed my life, because to this day I base my whole routine around astrology. I learned so much about myself. The stars, the planets are always transiting, they're always moving, they're always doing something in the air, and it has really helped me as an emotionally sensitive person. If you guys could relate to being emotionally sensitive person, maybe a really intuitive person, how much our emotions go like this. And when I was younger, that was something I didn't understand about myself and I saw it as a flaw. It wasn't until astrology got introduced into my life where I really started to understand myself, a blueprint of why I am the way I am, how I navigate it. Because obviously when you think of astrology, you think your sun sign, which is the sign of when you were born. I learned that we have a whole chart. We have a moon sign, we have a rising sign, a Venus sign, and all of these signs navigate different areas of our life, especially what house it's in. That's a whole nother ball game. My sun sign, for example, is Aquarius, and whenever I hear anything about Aquarius is that we're very detached, we're very aloof, we're very I don't know, for some reason I think a lot of people have negative experiences with Aquariuses, and although I could relate to some aspects of Aquariuses, I think, well, for example, my whole chart is water energy. Aquarius is air, but I have a lot of water in a lot of major parts of my chart because, for example, your moon sign is the sign that really represents your emotions, how you feel safe, your family, and that's very different from your Venus sign, because if you have your moon sign in a sign that's more grounded, let's say, and then your Venus sign is more fiery, then you're gonna love and feel very differently. You're gonna come off to people very differently than the way you are internally. This is where I love astrology, because if you really know your chart, you learn a lot about why you are the way you are in relationships versus your family versus how you are in your career. Like I said, you guys, growing up, I genuinely didn't like certain parts of myself. I thought I was too intense, too private, too emotional, too angry, I guess some would have called me at the time when I was younger. And I did have a lot of anger, but I didn't know how to navigate or understand how I dealt with emotions, and it was very different from how my family dealt with emotions. And until I began to learn myself, that I was like, okay, this is how I am, and I need to learn how to navigate. I have my own way of navigating the world, as do you, as does the next person. And we're usually judged for how we are or how we do things, especially if we do things different to the way we were shown or grown up. It helped me so much. I love helping my friends. Whenever my friends don't know that much about their chart, I like to give them insight about what I know, because I don't always know every sign, everything there is to know about the sign. I'm constantly learning. It's still something I educate myself on. I love to educate, by the way. It is so fun to me. I love learning about astrology. I love learning about what the planets are doing, because that's another thing. When the planets are doing something, for example, whenever there's a full moon, it has the energy of a certain sign depending on what the moon is in. Moon in Cancer, for example, when you think about Cancer, you could think Cancer is very emotional. It's very, just think of a little hermit, like a crab. I have my moon in Cancer, so whenever the moon is in Cancer, I do get very sensitive. I get very emotional. I tend to cry, but that's usually every full moon, versus when the moon might be in Sagittarius, where Sagittarius, it's a fiery energy. It wants to go out, it wants to explore, it wants to communicate, it wants to have adventure, and those two energies are very different. But I love to know what sign the moon is in at all times, what sign maybe Jupiter is transiting in. This is more of the intense stuff that I could talk down the road, but I'm going to talk more about how it helped me change my life and how I navigate my life now. Some notes on my phone, because I definitely cannot remember and I get very nervous talking on camera. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I do. I do have my mango here to ease a little bit. I was gonna have some greens before this too, to maybe loosen me up, but this is just a topic I naturally love to talk about, whereas if it was a topic that I don't really feel the most confident in, maybe I would get more nervous, but I feel good right now. So shout out to my girlfriend, because she cut me this mango right before I started filming. I love her so much. Anyways, I wrote down some notes and kind of like a script of how I wanted the video to go, but I did start with the old version of me. I want to get into the old version of me and how I was growing up. For a long time, especially when you're entering your adulthood, you just enter the world with the information that you know. Maybe the information your parents taught you, your friends taught you, a relationship taught you, and that was very much me growing up. I would say from 18, I moved out at 18, so I was very much on my own with my partner at the time, and I projected a lot of anger and sadness onto my partner at the time. I couldn't understand myself. I didn't know how I dealt with my emotions, how I dealt with my anger, how I was in a relationship, which your Venus sign could tell you, let alone the woman that I was trying to embody. That is something my rising helped me with. I learned that my rising is in Scorpio, and Scorpio risings are very private, personal people. I used to think I was very private, but also detached. Like, I couldn't connect with others, and I really couldn't. I kind of was a loner growing up, and as I grew up, I learned that Scorpio risings are just very They only connect with people kind of on a soul level. They love depth. They're very intense individuals. Even Scorpio placements in general, because Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet of aggression. I don't want to say aggression, but like aggression, sexual energy. It's very intense, we shall say. The rising sign is also known to be a way to navigate how your appearance could look, right? As you've seen probably on social media, the trend of doing my rising sign makeup, or dressing like my rising sign, or dressing like my Venus sign. That is because it has some truth to it if you believe in astrology. Me, for example, I made a video talking about how when I aligned with my rising sign, everything kind of fell into place in my life, and that is true because Scorpio risings are known to have like sultry eyes, dark hair, dark features. They're just very mysterious, very seductive, and I'm not saying that that's how I see myself, because I love being colorful as well. I don't always wear black. I don't always have black hair. I dyed my hair brown, but I did have black hair for a long time, and it was part of kind of my identity. It fed that mysteriousness that I craved. As a Scorpio rising, I loved giving seductive. I loved serving sexy, and I still do when I go out. I just know how to navigate it without using black and red, I would say. Just as if you had a Virgo rising, for example, Virgos are known to elude put togetherness. They love being put together. They're kind of slightly perfectionist. They neutral colors, very clean look, boss look. That's how I think. Also Capricorn and Virgo, I think, tend to have the same kind of energy. And if you don't know anything about this, it's fine. I'm just rambling, but this is how I'm telling you my brain works when it comes to astrology. For me, I know that if I ever want to tap into the most confident version of myself, I need to tap into those dark, sultry colors. They're what feeds my Scorpio. But I also have a lot of Scorpio placements in my chart as well, so I think that adds to it. But anyways, yes, I was a very intense, emotional young adult. Especially now, I'm still very intense and emotional. I just know how to navigate it better. When I was younger, I was internally missing that piece of the information that just made sense to me, that helped me learn to navigate myself. For reaching a point, asking myself more questions, I wanted to get to know myself on a deeper level. Why I was repeating patterns. Obviously, we repeat patterns because of trauma or just personalities, but I wanted to really understand what made me different than the next person. I'm a very ambitious woman. Ever since I was younger, I was very ambitious. It wasn't until this last year, I believe, I really started getting to know more, even more about astrology, because back then I only knew the big six: your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus, Mars, and Mercury. Last year, I really got into my MC, my midheaven. Your midheaven is the brightest point in the sky at the time that you were born, right? Okay, that is your 10th house. Your 10th house, whatever sign that is in your 10th house, for example, that rules your career, your reputation, how you're meant to be seen in this life, how you're meant to shine. For example, mine is in Leo. Okay, we're gonna get into this a little bit, because as I was telling you guys, my Scorpio rising loves to be private. I was a loner growing up. I didn't have many friends. I didn't like people perceiving me, and I also had a fear of being judged and a fear of being seen. I would say I loved just being hidden in my own shell. And at first, when I first started learning about astrology, I thought this had a lot to do with my Cancer moon, because Cancers, you think of a little shell. They like being in their shell. They like sticking to what makes them feel comfortable. And although that is me as well, I always craved more. I craved the spotlight, not in a sense where I wanted the attention, but more in a sense I just wanted to be successful. I wanted to be recognized for what I am about, what I love, the things I'm passionate about. Even if I'm not front and center, I just want to do something meaningful in my life, and I want to do it big. And I love being grand. I love Leo energy. Have you ever met a Leo in your life that's very out there, that's very just unapologetically themselves? Yes, we love a good Leo. That is because Leo is ruled by the sun. It is a fire sign. I have my 10th house in Leo. The spotlight, I have to learn how to be the sun. Isn't that crazy? As someone with a Scorpio rising that doesn't want to be perceived, that is scared to be seen, kind of. I love being mysterious. I love when people don't really know much about me, which is the conflict that I have. And I was telling you guys at the beginning how I filmed all of New York and I got to editing and I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want you guys to see that part of me because that part of me is very sacred. It feels true to me is putting myself out there, but in a way that respects my boundaries. And my boundaries is probably my personal life, which I'm learning. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm blocking off vlogging and all of that stuff completely. It just means that I'm learning myself and I'm learning how to navigate through these emotions that I'm feeling, because I went through a rut, you guys, when I came back from New York. I was feeling so depressed and sad and lost, and I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers. Her name is Ava girl, I love you. If you ever watch this video, I love you. I'm your biggest fan. Anyways, she was talking about how there will be signs when you level up, and one of the signs that she said was you're gonna feel really lost, you're gonna feel kind of sad, and also people are gonna walk out of your life, things are gonna leave. That is so very relatable to what happened when I came back from New York. I definitely needed to nest a little bit, but I also felt like something changed in me. It kind of sparked up from under me and I just was so motivated, but at the same time I needed to rest, I needed to purge, I needed to really understand what was keeping me stuck, and if I ever want to go to New York, what version of me is that required of me to discover. This is where I turn to astrology, you guys, because let me tell you, it is August 17th today when I am filming this video. Hopefully I get it out soon. However, we had the Lionsgate portal, the most powerful day. I manifested, I made sure to write my intentions, everything. I needed my phone to remember all of the astrological events that happened so I could really break down to you guys what I was going through when I went to New York and how it affected me. So I went to New York, my flight was around 20 something, but on July 20th through the 21st, that is when Jupiter was entering. It had like a shift going on in Leo. Like I told you guys, my MC is in Leo, so that is my career, my reputation, and Jupiter just entered Leo. So to give you guys context, Jupiter is a planet of luck, expansion. That's what it's known for. I was in probably the biggest city I could have been at during this transit, in the sign of my career, my reputation, what I want to level up in life basically right now. Hence why I'm filming this video, because I know that in order to level up in my life, I need to put myself out there, regardless of my fear of being judged, of being seen, like you guys are seeing me right now. Okay, like hi. Planet of luck, expansion, and just growth is touching the area of my life in terms of my career. Isn't that crazy? Okay, then the 29th, this was when I got back, we had a full moon in Aquarius. So the full moon basically is a time where you shed, and this is not a time for manifesting. This is more of a time for releasing. That's why people do releasing rituals. You script and you do shadow work prompts. And I have a lot of videos on TikTok if you guys are interested in that, because I have talked a lot about the moon cycles and stuff. I haven't lately, but if you guys love this type of content, I would be more than happy to continue it. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys because you guys are probably like, what happened to her and where is she? I'm right here. I'm just explaining to you guys what happened. 12th of August, we had a solar eclipse in Leo. We had a solar eclipse in Leo. All of this Leo energy, mind you, while the planet of luck and expansion is feeding my 10th house. Is this not my time to shine? Is this not my time to get over my fear? Yes, it is. And that is exactly how I'm using my astrology. I wrote, I have been feeling a huge pull to become more visible and express myself differently. And here I am, and I just think it's beautiful how astrology really talks to me and how it connects with me, because not only does it tell you kind of what's going to happen and what themes of your life you're going to be feeling, because like I said, Jupiter is transiting my 10th house, but to someone else it might be in a different area of their house, for example your second house or your third house. And if you don't know about the houses, you could look up what they mean, or I could do a separate video on what they mean because it's a lot. It's tying me back and reminding me of when I was 18, 19. This is kind of when I started really getting into astrology. I remember looking up at the moon on a full moon and I was just bawling my eyes out because me and my girlfriend at the time had just got in a fight, and I was like praying and praying to just get some clarity. And then I did. I feel I've changed so much as a woman, I've changed so much as a person, but astrology definitely helped me with that. And I think it's very significant that I was looking up at a full moon. Mind you, I started realizing that every full moon I would have a crash out. So emotionally sensitive, so I would start crying. I would just feel a lot. I would feel a lot of things from my past come up during that time. And I felt, ooh, let's hide myself a little bit. I felt scared of myself because like a wolf, like I was coming alive on the full moons. But genuinely, little did I know how moon sensitive I was. My moon, for example, is in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So I am especially sensitive to the moon during full moon. If it could control the ocean, you guys, it could control you, because you are majority ruled by water. I don't know how much it is. Is it like 90%? I don't know. But we have so much water in us. The moon controls everything. It really does. I love the moon. I am a moon baby. This day, you guys, I get so sensitive during a full moon. My girlfriend knows to leave me alone during a full moon. Not because I'll crash out anymore. I mean, I will. But I'm just so sensitive. It's like I need my alone time. I need to just unwind. I make sure not to have anything planned. I don't want to have anything planned. It's just such an intense day, and a lot of the past resurfaces not to punish you or not to overwhelm you, but it does it to show you, hey, this is what you need to reflect on. How did this affect you? To put into perspective on how I navigate the full moons and the new moons. The full moon, whatever house is transiting in my chart, because whenever we have a full moon or whenever we have a new moon, there's a specific area of your chart, and your chart looks like a clock, and it's split into 12. One house, second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, and so on. Wherever the moon is transiting, meaning wherever it's touching in your chart, whatever house it's touching, that is the area of your life you're gonna feel it the most. That is why astrology is so different from person to person. That is why I don't just ask someone what your sign is, because they could be a Cancer, but they could have complete fire energy. That is why some people, you ask them what their sign is and they seem nothing like that sign from what you've experienced. That's most likely why. Let's say the full moon is transiting my second house. I really need to be paying attention to themes around money and my possessions and what makes me feel materialistically secure in this life, because that is what the second house rules. And when the full moon is touching that area of my house, the full moon is shining light on that area of my house. It wants me to reflect on that area based on what sign it's in. Let's say it's in Leo. As we're talking about Leo loves to shine. It loves confidence. It loves to just be at the spotlight. It's very childlike energy. It's ruled by the heart. Of Leo, I think of healing my inner child. It's like I need to focus on themes healing my inner child, especially if the full moon is in Leo on my second house, focusing on themes around my inner child, maybe around money. Like, how did my inner child grow up believing that money was supposed to be made, or if I was worthy of having a lot of money, or this belief that money is evil, you know? That is how you tie it together. Isn't that so interesting, you guys? This is what makes me happy. Like, I love just talking about this truly, and that is how I use it for my everyday life. If you guys are curious and wanting to learn about astrology too, I definitely recommend you guys pay attention to how you feel during the moon cycles, during the full moons, during the new moons. And if you don't know, just get like a moon app or something. I have my own planner that tells me when the moon cycles are, so I could keep track of it. Just pay attention to how you feel, what themes come up. Even if you don't know what astrology is, you'll learn over time. Like I said, I'm still learning about it, and I love learning about it to this day. It is not a you need to know everything all at once type of thing. I genuinely enjoy learning as the moon cycles are going. Love how much water sign energy I have in my chart. I am so intuitive. You cannot fuck with me. I am so fucking intuitive, and I don't care if I'm cussing. It is a fact. Like, I have so much water sign energy in me. It's crazy. But my Mercury is in Pisces, and we have a full moon in Pisces on the 27th. So this might be like bringing up themes around my communication style, how I express myself, doing a lot of themes around that, and then seeing how you feel. Do you feel like those themes are coming up for you? And if you have Pisces in your chart, where is it in your chart? And if you don't know how to read your charts yet or anything about it, my favorite astrologer actually is, her name is Alexi Gigi, and she has a video on how to read your birth chart and your transit chart as well, to see where the moon is transiting in your chart. She goes in depth probably every moon cycle. This is interesting to you, that is a great starting point. That is how I started learning. I just started following a bunch of astrologers, and then my algorithm really pays attention to me. So whenever we have an eclipse or a new moon or a full moon, it gives me kind of information. But just listen to all the information out there. I do not like the generic readings. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, you're gonna experience this during this time of your life. I do not like those readings. I feel they're too general. It is like someone meeting you for the first time and trying to tell you, oh, you're a Gemini. Like, I've met so many Geminis. I don't like Geminis. You see, it's, I don't like that connotation when it comes to astrology. Astrology is so much more deep. So I just crave depth. I need to know more. I need to have meaning to things. I love putting the associations together. I love learning why I am the way I am. I love learning my triggers, what makes me upset, how I navigate emotionally, how I navigate in love, how I navigate in communication. All of these things you could learn through astrology, you guys. And I'm just so happy that I actually took the time to dip into this topic, because like I said, it's something I genuinely do love. I genuinely could talk about it for a long time. Are you guys proud of me? I am channeling my Leo MC. Definitely am still on this journey. I am on this journey with you guys. I am still learning. I have years and years and years to learn, and I don't want to know everything all at once. So I am more than happy to share the information that I do have right now with you guys, to update you guys on why I didn't post for New York, why that vlog is probably going to be on hold. Maybe one day I'll post it, maybe I won't. Right now, I just really want to do something that feels more natural to me, rather than trying to force something in me that just isn't there. And give myself a new perspective, definitely, because when I first was learning about my Leo MC, I thought I needed to just be out there. I needed to just put myself fully out there, and that was how I was going to be successful. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe I could put myself out there but still tie it in with my Scorpio rising, which likes a little form of privacy, constantly changing. So I never want to feed you guys a version of myself that doesn't resonate with the next version of myself. You guys, I love a death and rebirth moment. Anyway, we're gonna cut the video because I believe it's pretty long. I have books and books about neuroscience and manifestation and all this woo-woo astrology stuff. So if you guys are interested in anything else, let me know. I think I'm gonna try to dabble more into this area of my life, and I love you guys, and I hope you guys liked this video. Sorry about New York. Mwah. I'll see you guys next time.